In Mexico, the death of 18-year-old Debony Escobar has sparked protests. Her body was found in a motel water tank after she disappeared. And this is the last photo of Escobar. She's standing with her arms folded on an empty highway in the middle of the night. It was taken by a cab driver who Escobar's father alleges tried to sexually assault her. Authorities say Escobar died from a head injury, but activists say her death needs to be investigated further as her story sparks outrage over the increasing disappearances and killings of women in the country. So journalist and producer Luis Chaparro wrote about this story for Vice News and is here to discuss. Thanks for joining us. I sort of, barreled through the story, but there are details there that I'd like you to sort of shed a light on, because there are conflicting explanations coming from the government, coming from authorities. What do we know about this case?
Well, Anne-Marie, thank you for having me. And yes, I mean, there are conflicting versions about what happened with Debony. Even the fact that she was in that party with her friends, new details are showing that those were actually not her friends. She just met them at the party, and that's why they left her all alone there. And they hired the driver who later in the night sexually assaulted her, according to Debony's dad. We also know now that the autopsy showed that there was no water on her lungs, meaning that she was thrown into the tank after actually being dead, and not like the official version initially said, that she died by accidentally falling into the water tank.
So you can understand why this case would capture the attention of a country. She is beautiful. This is a bizarre and tragic mystery. But the thing about her as well is that she's the 20th woman to be reported missing in the last 4 weeks alone in Nuevo Leon. Is there a trend here that needs to be investigated? Give us a little more insight.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the fact that Debony's death, basically Debony's death came to a point where women in Nuevo Leon are actually scared of going out in the streets. She is the 20th missing girl reported in Nuevo Leon. And let me highlight reported, because there are a lot of them that are not being reported because of the families are afraid, or because the authorities are not listening to some of the families. So that we know she is the 20th in 4 weeks. And activists said that this is nothing new, that this has been happening since at least 5 years now, but that only the last month, this really spiked to a point that they cannot take it anymore. And they're asking for justice, but also for protection from authorities.
Why is this area, this region, a hotspot for these types of disappearances? Is there a reason?
Well, it's hard to say, to be honest, but Nuevo Leon is at the corner of having strong cartel-related violence. Two of the main drug cartels in Mexico have a strong presence here, but also it's one of the richest states in the whole country, meaning that impunity levels are pretty high.
Luis, well, I'm glad that you are shining a light on this, and as you continue your reporting, I hope we can have you back, because I think it's a conversation that needs to be had. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me.